become a public accountant. You can become a managerial accountant. In accounting also, there are levels and different style of report that each of these levels prepare. Like when you talk about a financial accountant, what is the job of a financial accountant? You work in a firm and you gather the information, their financial information, you interpret it, you give to the top management, you prepare a report for tax, annual filing, and the rest of it. Then for a managerial accountant, your own assignment is basically for top management for informed decision. Then when you are now going higher, you now have a forensic accountant. A forensic accountant prepare report that have to do with litigation. Those legal matter, like my brother here said, whenever any issue of fraud or embezzlement occur in a company, you need to contact the services of a forensic accountant. And when you must have prepared it, they will take it to court to analyze it and see who is involved and how come about it. So those kind of level of accounting is not everyone that qualified to prepare it. So you need to start from small, one, to get all the required subjects, to go into the university and study for the period of 5 years. And after you must have graduated as an accountant, you'll be awarded either HND or BSc. Then for you to go into certification to enable you prepare some of these reports that I've mentioned, like forensic auditing account, you need to have ICANN. You know, ICANN, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, or you have ACCA, or you have any other qualification to enable you stand in to prepare those, report that has to do with legal matters and a higher responsibilities. Now, where do you work as an accountant when you must have, qualified, or when you must have studied in school? I said it before now that there are so many areas where one can work as an accountant. You can work as a public accountant in a firm, can also work in a government setting. As a government accountant, you're dealing with one local government, the state government, the federal government, preparing their account statement, budgeting, and all that. So accounting is a very interesting profession that I will urge each and every one of us that have the interest to go into it, because when you do that, food will never lack on your table. It's either you are working in a company or you are consulting for other firms. Because at the end of the year, for companies, they will need to do their annual filing on tax matters. It's an accountant that will prepare that report. And you can decide to be on your own after you must get in the required certification, just to be on consultation, just to consult, and you're on your own. I can also decide to work for a company. So it's a very wide range that it will be good for young persons to go into it. And when you do that, you will not just look for food, but rather food will look for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful talk on accounting. So before we continue, I want to make an appeal to our facilitators to please try to keep to the 5 minutes time allocated. Thank you. So now we're going to call on the next facilitator, Mr. Akintonde Olumide. He's going to be taking us on agriculture. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, all. I'm going to be speaking on agriculture. Please, I hope I'm heard. Please, can I get a signal if I'm being heard, please? Hello, I hope I'm heard, please. Hello. I hope I'm being heard, please. Good afternoon. Can I speak on, please?
They can go ahead.
Okay, all right. I just want to be sure that the audio is on. Agriculture is actually the cultivation of crop and animal husbandry. Agriculture actually employs the highest labor in the labor market. Agriculture is actually a lucrative adventure, though most agriculture, but today's modern agriculture actually encourages the young professions or skill who likely wants to go into agriculture. Agriculture has its diversities. In today's agriculture, we can talk of hydroponics, that is where we have less available land, you can plant in water. Aeroponic, that is you plant in air. Vertical agriculture, and the uses of drones for agriculture. Students who would likely want to go into agriculture, they may want to know the subject which they will take. An interesting student will take mathematics, English, agriculture as the main subject, understand the science of nature, then physics in case you want to go into agricultural engineering, and as well chemistry. Anyone who study agriculture can work in diverse professions, like to be an agricultural engineer. You can work in an international organization. You can work in the government. You can work in a private firm. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a consultant and a researcher in a high institution, maybe a lecturer. You can also work as software engineering or engineer rather, who works for farmers or who design software to meet up with agriculture. You can also grow crops personally for commercial purposes or for personal usages. I would also like to encourage many people to actually go into agriculture, because oil is today and agriculture will be for tomorrow. And I want to say that the way the economy is going, agriculture is a lucrative one, and it is the one that does not have much competition. And agriculture actually, is a very simple skill, which actually you can understand as a nature. We all know that agriculture started from God. That is, God actually started agriculture by creating a nature and also allowing man to manage the garden which he created. So today's agriculture is actually more than what we used to know. Everybody thinks farmer, and they just go into the bush and using cutlasses and knife. Today, you can have a lot of technologies. People in agriculture can produce to meet up with diverse firms, like the tire producing companies, companies that deal with rubber, and other companies that use leather and the rest of them. And you, as an agricultural expert, you have a lot to gain in the economy. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please, you can raise that. That will be answered. God bless you all.
All right. A better round of applause for our speaker. All right, on to the next one. Thank you. I will encourage those that would want to start asking their question, and the ushers to pass slips so that they could put down their questions to be read out. Thank you so much. We'll be going to our next facilitator that will be joining us online. He's no other person but Dr. Oluwayomi Ayowole Joseph. He works at the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. He's a medical officer, and certifications he has a BSc in physiology and the MBBS. He has experience in his own field. This afternoon, he'll be taking us on medicine, and I believe most of all the students will be saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be that and this. Now, here is it. You hear it from the horse's mouth. He will explain all that there is, all it takes to be a medical doctor. So just pay attention, your jotters open, and your pen ready. Thank you. Dr. Wole, I believe you're ready for us. Thank you so much. Is Dr. Joseph with us, please? All right, we just move on to the next facilitator while we wait for Dr. Joseph. We'll be calling on to Mrs. Ayotomi Fasui. She works at Viva's First Educational Services. She is the director lead trainer. She has some certifications accrued to her career, and that is the BA English, MA Communication and Language Arts, PGDE, PGD teacher training. She also has 30 years of experience in her field. For most of us that want to be a teacher, want to be a lecturer, and all that there is to lecturing and passing out educational tools to whoever we want to, she'll be taking us on that route, and I want us to pay rapt attention. And I want to repeat this. You can start writing out your question on the paper slip and pass it to the ushers, so you could pass it down to the moderators. Thank you. I still want to appeal 5 minutes time allotted to our facilitators. They should please stick to it.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Can I have a response? If you can hear me, good evening. Good evening. Okay. Is that a response? Can somebody hear me? Can you hear me in the auditorium? Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on, ma.
Oh, thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be here this evening. And thank you to all the young people in the house. This is a very special time in your life where you need to be making decisions about what you plan to do in the future. Sorry, my voice is a bit coarse. I've been battling with some cough for a couple of days now. So how many people in the house would like to be teachers? If you would like to be a teacher, raise up your hand. I doubt if there's any hand being raised. Nobody wants to be a teacher. Do I see a few hands up? Oh, nice. Good to know. Because I was just going to wonder if nobody wants to be a teacher, so who is going to be teaching your children? Because the generation of these days, nobody wants to be a teacher anymore. But the irony of it is that teaching is the mother of every other profession. Whichever way we look at it, without a teacher, there will be no doctor. Without a teacher, there will be no lawyer. There will be no engineers. There will be no agriculturists. There will be no other profession. And of course, it is not excuse me, it is not by chance that Jesus Christ himself was called the great teacher. It is because God knows that without teachers, then everyone would go astray. Teachers are saddled with the responsibility to walk with God, to mold lives, to shape destinies, to change the world, and to show people the way they should go. So when the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, they will not depart from it. The word train in that sentence is the same as the word teach. So when it says train up a child, it also means teach a child. Well, also, for every profession, whatever you desire, whatever you decide to do, you can be a teacher in that field. So you can be a teacher at whatever level you choose to be. Some people are going to be nursery school teachers because that requires a special skill. Some people are going to be teaching at primary level. Some are going to be teachers at secondary. Some are going to be teachers at the tertiary level. Some are even going to be professional teachers, because in all of these professions, we always have our training centers. So the banker will tell you that they also need to go for courses, that they also need to be trained. And who is going to be training them? It's a teacher. So fundamentally, there will be teachers across board. But one thing I need you to know is that there's a slogan that we use. Teaching is not an everybody's affair. What we say those who can teach. Those who can, teach. What that means is that it's not and if you're going to be learning, then you've got to be readers. In actual fact, teaching is a profession that is reserved for very brilliant people. So it is people who are brilliant enough to have a mastery of their subjects and can pass it on to other people. Some people are very brilliant, but they cannot pass it on to other people. Such people cannot teach. So teaching is a profession that is for those who can. And for you to go into teaching as an educator, in fact, for many people, they wish they could teach, but unfortunately, it is not everybody that can teach. You will think, you say, teachers do not earn good salaries, and that is why many people don't want to teach. But you know what? Brilliant teachers earn more salaries than even engineers. Brilliant teachers are the ones who make the world roll. But if you're just a passerby teacher, then you will have a challenge with that. But if you want to teach and you want to put in the required effort, then you're welcome to a worthy profession. That is what teaching is. It's not a humble profession. It is a worthy profession. And so, if you want to work as an educator, you can be a teacher in any subject that you desire. Just take a good look at yourself. What are your favorite subjects? That you have a credit in English and mathematics, that is a given. Every course that you're going to progress into would require you to have a credit in English and maths. But the other thing that you need to now put in place is to look out, what is that subject that you really love? Is it biology? Is it French, English language, mathematics, civil education, whatever? You can be a teacher in any of the subjects that you're passionate about. So I'm going to leave you with that slogan again. Those who can teach. But if you can't, then perhaps you should get into some other profession, because we don't want those who cannot to come into the profession. So think about it, and God bless you as you make your decisions. Thank you.
You can do better than that. You can do better. You can do better. Thank you. I believe we have all had informations as regarding various careers, various professions. And it's a time that we give back to the facilitators what we've gotten so far. And to do that, as said it earlier, though we may not be able to get all questions and answer them, but with what we've had, I believe that some questions are the ones you would have asked, and someone has helped you to ask it beforehand. So to start with that, some questions will be displayed on the screen, but the ones I have in my hands here came from this very audience, which I believe more are coming. But with what we have, the very first question goes to Bro Esikot Essien, who talked about entrepreneurship. And though there are a whole lot of questions, about 5 here, I'll just run through them and he will answer them on the stretch. Those very students, I want to believe whether the information, you did not get it clearly, but the question is, one, who is an entrepreneur? Two, what is entrepreneurship? Three, how do I manage a business? What are the skills needed to succeed in a business? Is it everything you sell that you'll gain profits? Let me take this question again. Number one, who is an entrepreneur? Number two, what is entrepreneurship? Three, how do you manage a business? Four, what are the skills needed for a successful business? Five, is it everything that you sell that you get profit? Thank you.
Well, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is somebody that runs a business. He makes use of all the, like we normally say, factors of production when we are learning economics. He makes use of labor, he makes use of material, makes use of all the resources to run the business. Entrepreneurship is simply the act or the business of carrying on an enterprise. When you set up a business and you're running it, that's entrepreneurship. But you, the person that is running that business, is an entrepreneur. And you can do it from any field. What are those skills that you need? Depending on the area of business, there are specialized skills that you must have. So it depends on which business you want to do. And let me be very practical. Like my learned friend that is seated here, if you want to set up a firm, a legal firm, of course, first of all, you must have what? A good knowledge of law. That is a skill. But you must have integrity. You must have honesty. All these are required to run that business. And so depending on the business you need to develop those skills that will help you to run that business. You need to manage money very well. You need to learn how to manage people. You need to look at your business environment. Can you manage the risk? And then make sure that your business is doing well. All those things are the skills you need to learn. And the last question, if you do a business, do you make profits every day? My simple answer is no. There are days you make profits. There are days you make loss. There are days you break even. But what is most important to you is to look at what makes you to make profit. You continue in that. What makes you to make a loss? You change. What makes you to break even? You continue in it. And somewhere along the line, the business will begin to grow. Thank you very much.
Christian, I believe you are satisfied in a bit. And also at this moment, we'd like to call the question and answer session to a short while we go back to one of our facilitators that we couldn't hook up to because of technical issues. He's ready for us now, and that is Dr. Oluwayomi Joseph, the medical officer. He's ready for us now. Thank you as we hook up to him. Dr. Joseph, we can't hear you, please. Check the audio from your end. We can still hear you, sir. Dr. Joseph, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Check the audio from your end. Thank you. Well, while we wait for Dr. Joseph, seems technical issues are holding him back there. We just have a question here that is directed to the facilitator on law. The question goes thus. Please, sir, as I am growing up, I have passion of helping the less privileged people. So do you think that if I become a lawyer, I'll be able to help them? Or if I become a pediatrician, I will help them better? I need clarification on the two professions. I'm also confused if I should go into art classes or science classes to achieve this. Thank you. And another question, please. Let's just take it on a stretch. My question is based on, okay, that's for agriculture. I am an art student. I run away from science because of calculations. Now I'm finding out that I do better in biology, DP, and economics more than my art subject. What should I do? That's the second question. Anyone could take it. And finally, on that session, speaking on law, two questions now, sir. Good day, sir. Sir, please, if you become a judge and you are not able to solve problems and you solve a serious case incorrectly and innocent people are punished for what they did not do, and you realize that what you are not doing well in the job, what should you do? I want to believe that he's saying that if you send someone to prison or whatever unjustly, and what should you do in that? That's the second question. I believe you got the first question, sir.
The law profession is all about helping humanity. You engage yourself in doing things you are not paid for. We call it pro bono. See people going to court for something just because they have an interest in that matter. You see them going to court without asking you to pay them a dime. We do it. So it's not all about money. I have said it before. It's helping those who are vulnerable, those who cannot, the indigent, those who cannot help themselves. That is what the law profession is all about. So if you become a lawyer, you have, in fact, the greatest opportunity to carry it out to the letter. I think that's the answer. On the other side, the second question is, the law allows a judge, a sitting judge, because his verdict is final. If instead of, the law says, instead of one person, one innocent person to go to jail, it is better for 10 of them who are guilty to be set free. So you discover that it is not only going to court or jailing somebody. It's all about proving you. It's not easy to prove beyond reasonable doubt. When the law says on a criminal case that you prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, it is not an easy thing. It allows even a criminal, you have seen him, you have caught him red-handed, doing a particular, committing a particular crime or doing a particular thing, but that you are not able to convince the judge sitting or the magistrate sitting that he did it. The person, and you think, well, it turned out to say, he has collected bribe. No, it is because it is better for one or 9 criminals to go free than for one innocent person to be convicted. Thank you.
Thank you so much on that. I'd want to give to Bro Esika to just answer this question straight up. He says, I'm an art student. I run away from science because of calculations. Now I'm finding out that I do better in biology, DP, and economics more than my art subject. What should I do?
One thing you need to really understand is that you need to identify where you have your core competence, where you are better, where you do it with ease, where you gain advantage without struggling. If you find out that you have a passion now for biology and you are flowing with ease. You don't struggle. You assimilate easily. In your exams, you see that the grades you make is better. One, talk to God. Get that conviction that God gives you that leverage, that yes, you can run with that course or that profession, and this is what you have in mind. Once that is settled in your mind, you can run with it. So that while you are running with it, you don't say, okay, let me go and try this one here. Let me come and try this one here. Stay where you know that you have an ability and you are getting results. And with God, He will help you through.
Thank you so much on that. A round of applause for the responses from our facilitators. And also, our online facilitators, I don't know if the engineers are still on with us. I would like them to be up because there are certain questions here for the engineers. Are they still with us, please? Brother Jackson Ide and Brother Victor Kita. We have 3 questions with us here, which I would like them to help us and answer. Okay, they are on with us. The first question here is, okay, good afternoon, Mr. Victor. Please, I need more emphasis on chemical engineering. These days, I heard chemical engineering is not that rampant. That is, we hardly see people interested in that area. I love that profession. Should I go on? On salary, please, is it that high? Okay, he would answer that. He's talking about chemical engineering, how lucrative it is, and what is the pay like for a chemical engineer? That's the first question. The second question goes to us. I want to be an electrical engineer. Before you connect some wire, you need to construct a drawing before connecting the wires. That question seems not to be complete. And finally, is science among engineering, or can I be taught engineering if I go to science class? That is what the questioner is asking. Is science among engineering, or can I be taught engineering if I go to the science class? All right, our facilitators online, the engineers, will help us on those questions. Thank you.
Okay. Chemical engineering, one of the main subject for chemical engineering is chemistry. You must be good in chemistry, also in your calculation. Physics, biology, they're all inclusive. You are looking also at further mass because you'll be having a lot of dy dx. That's on further mass. But chemical engineering is so vast, beyond oil and gas. It goes into painting, petrochemicals, even food processing. It branches into process engineer. Process engineering is a part of chemical engineer. So it's okay, it's a very good venture. Don't be surprised, a lot of people are studying it, ladies especially, because it doesn't involve more of physical work. It involves mental thinking and vastness because they are more into designs. So it's very, very good for all and sundry, both male and female. So I tell you, it's very lucrative, well paid. Most oil and gas engineers, most of them are chemical engineers. So it's very good. For electrical circuits that you are talking about, yes, it may appear as if it's not physical, but before drawings are given, before you go and do any physical work off-site or at site, you need to have the drawing, number one, in case you are not available there. And another person will understand the interpretation of what has been done. Or shall there be challenges, sparks, and the rest of it? You'll be able to use those drawings to trace it out. and you'll be able to find where the problem is coming up from. And the last question, sorry, can you remind me again? The last question, I didn't take note of that. Hello, moderator.
The questionnaire was referring to the subject he or she is finding difficult, that at some point he's not understanding some certain science subjects. If he can go on, if he can be taught engineering in sciences. That's the question. If he can be taught engineering in sciences.
Obviously, science, technology, and engineering, that goes on and on. But as further studies, you see they will be separated. So some basic subjects that you need to do as an engineer, they are science subjects. So science is also part of engineering. So it's good that you are focusing on science. In future, they need to branch further into technology, engineering, and sciences. We are looking at biology, chemistry, physics, geography. They're all part of the sciences, which gives a wider range for engineering and sciences. I hope you are clear.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we let you go, sir, just one question before we let you go. Sir, please, how is it possible to study and understand mathematics very well without knowing it, without knowing how it can be applied in real life events? For example, trigonometry ratio. He said the question, he said, good afternoon, Engineer Jackson Ibe. Please, how is it possible to study and understand mathematics very well without knowing how it can be applied in real life events? For example, trigonometric ratios.
Okay. Indeed, it is very applicable. Maybe in building, in drawing, you understand trigonometry ratios. That's you are talking of the best of distance. If you are looking at distance on the paper, you may not understand it better. But when you go into the physical aspects, like when you are building, there are some areas that it will be so necessary. All those ratios, Pythagoras theorem, the various ratios, you see it's more applicable as you go deeper into engineering. I don't know if that helps you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, sir, our facilitators on ground, I have several questions here, and I'll just read them on a stretch, and I want, if possible, it can be jotted down. The first one here is for law. The question is, I want to be a lawyer, and I don't know if I am safe or not, because many people normally say that the lawyer is prone to dangerous things, like they might kill you or kidnap because maybe you fought for someone's right. My question is, am I going to be safe also if I want to be a lawyer, because I'm scared that someday I might be at a higher risk? And before you get to that question, please. For accounting, please. Why do you work as an accountant? Who is an accountant? That's for that. Okay, those two first for now.
It is true that lawyers are exposed to a lot of great dangers. That is true. But as Christians, you fear nothing when you have God with you. When you are a good lawyer and you are doing a matter against somebody, it's not the other lawyer that will fight you. It is the party on the other side. When they see that you are doing better than their lawyer. But that is not something to be afraid of. Because when you are standing on the truth, it will not harm you. Nothing will come close to you. We have been promised of God keeping us under his pavilion. And that is the benefit we enjoy. So if you become a lawyer, Don't be afraid of what will happen because nothing will happen. You will excel. There are so many of us there who are Christians. And by the special grace of God, you go out there with the faith and trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Barrister, I would like to stay on you on one more question before we're done with that one. All right, there's another question that was asked, accounting. Why do you work as an accountant? Who is an accountant?
Okay, like when I started, I gave a definition of accounting, that it has to do with the process of recording of financial transaction of a particular business or entities. And as an accountant, you have the ability to summarize, to analyze, to interpret, and to bring up a report for an organization for their informed decisions, to know how the business is faring, to enable them in tax matters, and also get them the understanding of how the business is moving. And for one to become an accountant, definitely you must possess a degree in accounting for you to start.
Thank you so much. We go on to our online facilitators, and we want to appeal to our facilitators to see how they can manage our time in answering questions. All right, do we have Sister Temito question with us?
Yes,
Sister
I'm here.
Temito. All right,
Yes,
there are a few questions for you, ma. The first one is, please, scholarship opportunities and links from universities abroad and within. The questioner is asking, is there any way one could source for the links and scholarship opportunities abroad and within? Second question is, what is information technology? What are the benefits of studying ICT? Ma, do you get those questions?
Yes, I did.
All right, please, we need response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for reaching out again. There are links to study abroad, and there are links to scholarships, United Nations scholarships, WHO. I can provide those links through the YDD directorate. That's one. Then secondly, information technology is a compound word. There are different areas of information technology. You could be a computer scientist, you could be a database administrator, you could be a computer engineer, and there's engineering in computer science too. You could be a programmer, you could be an IT manager, you could also manage your own business, run your own business as an entrepreneur. So it's actually a very wide area. What are the benefits? You earn more money for doing less work. The profession is not a profession that requires too much physical activity. Computer science is a course, like I told you, I've been at home working for 2 years. And in comparison to somebody who is at the bank, either on the teller counting money from morning till 9, you'll be shocked at what you could earn from the comfort of your home. So I can provide more information directly to those who are asking via the YDD directorate to provide the information on how to get all these links. Thank God we are here and we provide all the support they need.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you. I don't know if we still have Mrs. Fasuyu online with us. Is she still with us? Mrs. Fasuyu?
No, she's not here.
All right, okay. This is another question on law, sir. Please, it's a good afternoon, sir. Some say lawyers fight for the rights of the citizens, but some lawyers still stand to defend a criminal in the law court. The big question is why? Now, some say lawyers fight for the rights of the citizens, but some lawyers still stand to defend a criminal in the law court. The big question, why?
The law presumes everybody to be innocent of any crime until you have been proved be guilty of that crime. You understand? When you are caught or when you are arraigned before the court that you for committing any crime, the law presumes you to be innocent. And that's why when lawyers go for bail application, they will say, my client or the defendant is here, but at least the law presumes him to be innocent. So you don't prejudge him. So there must be a lawyer. In a criminal case, even when you don't have a lawyer, it is the duty of the state to provide a lawyer for you. So there must be a lawyer to defend people, innocent people or criminals, no matter their names. They are not criminals when they are being arraigned, when they are being tried. They are criminals only when they have been convicted. Do you understand? So while they are standing trial, they are not criminals. They are defendants until convicted. Thank you. So lawyers must to defend them.
All right, Christian, I believe you got that. Do we still have Miss Toby on with us? Miss Toby? Miss Toby?
Yes,
still...
I'm here.
All right, you got some
I'm
questions.
here.
All right, there are some certain questions there for you. The first one, please, there are three. I'll read the three of them in a row and you give responses to them. Number one is, what is the difference between accounting and banking? That's the first question. The second question is, what is the difference between marketing and economics? And the last one is, okay, the third question is, what if you have so many courses in commercial subjects and the subjects such as markets, business management, economics, banking, etc., and you have a little challenge in accounting? What will you, and wow, that question is not complete. And what will you do? Thank you. What will you do? And you love accounting and you don't wish to drop the subject. Miss Toby, did you get the last question? Miss Toby? Is Miss Toby still with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Did you get the last question?
Give me the first question, so let me deal with it while we progress with the second and the last. No, I didn't.
All right. What is the difference between accounting and banking, please?
Okay, the difference between accounting and banking.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to answer this way. I would like to answer that accounting is part of banking. Okay, because in the banking sector, you must be accountable. You must have a knowledge of how you balance your books. Okay, but accounting as a profession is different. You know, that means you want to go into more like being an expert in accounting, like one of our brothers just said. But in banking, you do an element of accounting. Like in the bank, we say for every debit, there must be a credit. So if you look for, if you experience a debit leg of a transaction and you've not seen the credit, we call it fraud. Just like if you experience a credit leg of a transaction and there is no corresponding debit, we also term it as something that you need to look at for. So in banking, you must have that accounting mindset, you know, trying to balance your books at the end of the day. If you're a teller, you must make sure that the amount of money that you receive are also the amount of money that you posted, or those that you're supposed to pay certain amount of money, the accounts are debited, you know, with the corresponding amount that they requested for and all that. So is in banking, I would say that accounting is an attitude. All right, it has to be with you, like runs in you, you know, as a banker. Do you understand? But that is different. That is different from accountant, or the professionals that we call the accountants.
Thank you so much.
That answers the question.
The second question: the difference between marketing and economics. The difference between marketing and economics. Yes.
Okay. In marketing is more like a general term. Like I studied marketing in school. All right. So, but in marketing, there are specializations in marketing. It's a broad term when you use the word marketing. Do you understand? So in marketing, you have to find a way where you get to the production, move the goods to the end users, whatever that is involved in adverts, in cross-selling, information management, and stuff like that in marketing. in economics, like when I studied marketing, I know at a point we had to drop economics and proceed with the core course of marketing. In economics, it tries to teach you economic of scale, you know, how you manage your limited resources, okay, which is also what is practiced in banking. So all that put together, we would just want to label them as business administrative costs. Do you understand? But just that you now find some people being labeled as economists. That's quite an expertise area, which I don't have any fair knowledge of. But there is a little bit of this, just like we have a little bit of accounting in banking, we also have a little bit of economics in banking too. So those are ingredients that the banker draws from other fields to perfect and work with in his own profession. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Before we let you go, one final question for you, sir. This question is asking now, what if you have so many courses in commercial subjects and the subjects such as marketing, business management, economics, banking, etc., and you have a little challenge in accounting? What will you do? And you love accounting so much and you don't want to drop it.
Okay, what you do is very simple. It's simply that the bottom line and the most important thing which the questioner has said is that he has interest in that particular course. So if you have interest in that course, definitely you should strive to know the course, read and understand the course. Do you understand? And my advice is to some students like myself, when I had challenges with mathematics, I had to find a way to meet those who will make the mathematics a lot easier for you. The truth about the practical life is that you tend to meet students who will just tell you that this thing you call mathematics or accounting is too broad, it's too difficult, it's too great deal to deal with. But look for students who will simplify those courses or those subjects for you. Pick them one after the other, you will definitely learn it. And the way to go about it is that go back to square one. Don't just jump and you want to be a professional or an expert in accounting or whatever. Go back to square one, to the drawing board, and pick those formulas, those informations bit by bit, and understand them the way they are. Ask questions from professionals, and of course, you'll be on top of your game and achieve what you want. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So that's all. Online questions, I don't know if it can be displayed. The questions from our online audience, if it can be displayed. And do we still have Dr. Joseph still with us online? Dr. Joseph? Dr. Joseph, are you still with us?
It's still available.
Oh.
Sorry, you mean Joseph or
Joseph,
Joseph?
Yes, the doctor, the medical doctor.
Yes, it's still available, but he's still having some technical issues.
All right. Because there's a very lengthy question for him here, though he had not the opportunity to address us. Okay, for our facilitators on ground, there is this question I want to ask us, and I'll be directing it to Mr. Essie and Esicott. In our country, how do we apply what we are taught in our secondary schools to our future profession when we are taught topics that don't have real life application? I take it again. In our country, how do we apply what we are taught in our secondary schools to our future professions when we are taught topics and taught with no area of life application? So I don't know if you got the question.
When in secondary school, just like you are now, there are topics, there are subjects that you learn. Some of it will be related to the profession that you are going to do. Some might not be applicable immediately, but you will discover that as you grow in knowledge and you grow higher in the profession, those things will come back to be relevant. And so what is most important, first of all, is having an understanding of what you learn now, what you are being taught now. Let's take, for example, in the accounting profession, you find out that when you are starting at the earlier stage, there are courses that you are being taught. It does not have any direct bearing with accounting. But you discover that as you grow, as you begin to branch into other fields, those courses that you think were not relevant at that early stage, you begin to see it playing out. So my advice now is that learn and understand it now. And as you grow, it will be applicable. There's nothing you learn at this level that does not have an application. It has an application. Only at this time, your knowledge is limited. So just understand the basics and grow with it. And at the fullness of your profession, you begin to see it manifest.
All right, thank you. First, as I said earlier, we may not have the time to answer all the questions, but in due time, we'll get back to you on those questions you've asked that we couldn't touch. And I also believe that those ones we've answered in one way or the other have been directed to your question. And to wrap this up, we just have one final question, and that will be a question from one of the questions we have here, and that is just two questions, and the barrister will be answering one, and Brother Chidi will be answering the other one. Number 4, how do I involve God in making my career choice?
The involvement of God in our career choice or whatever thing we do is very essential. As a Christian, as a child growing, there is nothing you can do without God. I think God is the basic. We trust in Him for everything. You want to make a career, you want to choose a career, you want to do anything. I think the best thing you do is to go on your knees. Ask God to give you a sense of direction. He alone can direct you. He alone can lead you and help you to become what you want to do. So there is no way you say you will not involve God. God is involved in all our activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question is, what is the role of passion in my career choice? Is having passion for a choosing career path necessary when making my career choice? The question is, what is the role of passion in my career choice? Is having passion for a choosing career path necessary when making my career choice?
I can say it very clearly that passion has a very good role to play in any profession you're choosing to take, because the passion is what drives you. I want to become an accountant. The passion I have of going into accounting will help me to pass all the requirements that will make me to become an accountant. So for you to choose any profession or any career, passion must be there. Because with passion, when you jump the rock, the passion will say you through. But if you don't have the passion, you will fall back.
All right. And finally, to Mr. Esikot Essien, I want to combine two questions together. Number 6 and number 9. But I'll ask number 9 first. How do I overcome peer pressure, emotions, and parental influence when making my career choice? How do I overcome peer pressure, emotions, and parental influence when making my career choice? And the second one is, how do I identify my strengths and weaknesses when making my career choice?
Peer pressure is very practical. Just like you are in school now, there are circles of influence. And that circle of influence can draw you from what you have set your mind to achieve. Those are your peer groups. And that comes with what? Peer pressure. When we talk about peer pressure, we are talking about influence. And so the most critical thing is And that is what I want to put as a basis. Try not to deceive yourself. Make sure that you are able to have a strong emotion, a strong will. You should be able to decide to tell yourself the truth. This profession, this career I want to do, can I be able to do it? Do I have the ability to do it? Can I pass the subject? You are not going to take that decision because your friend says he likes accounting, and so because he said, look, come and follow me and do accounting. Oh, I want to be a lawyer. You come and join me and do law. No, what you want to decide is to tell yourself the truth. And that comes with deciding what is your strength. Where does your competence lies? Strength has to do with your inner ability. Those traits that will help you. Can I read? Can I develop my skill? Am I intelligent? If I study, will I pass? How do I study? How do I read? How good am I in this subject? How am I performing? These are you searching your inner strength, your capability. What are my weaknesses? Am I good in this subject? Do I study well? Is this friend, this my classmate, is it complementing my effort or not complementing my effort? So that will help you to define who are your peer group. If you know that your peer group does not help you to realize what you want, then you draw yourself away from that peer group. They are wrong influence. But when it helps you to know, to build on your strength, to build on your ability, they help you to build on the subject you are doing, and you see you passing. So because you are relating with this other person, you see you passing your grades. They are good peer group, and you can build on that. And so for you to also develop that inner strength, of course, prayer is there. When you look at yourself, you find out that you're not doing well in your subject, you are not passing well, you go back to God, you add prayer to it, then you add studies to it, and you build on your strength. And once you are able to build on your strength, I can assure you, you'll be able to do well in those subjects. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. And also, to our online audience, if you've been following us keenly, you notice that almost most of the questions you've asked have been treated in one way or the other. So I believe you have been following us. But just one crucial question came in, and it's directed to our brother, Mr. Obi rather, that works in the bank. Mr. Obi, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
All right, one crucial question is here for you, sir. The question goes thus. When someone opens an account in the bank, what happens to the person's money when he or she dies? Thank you. What happens to the person's money when he or she dies? Mr. Obi, are you still with us? Mr. Obi.
What happened to me? Hello?
Yes, we
can
can
you hear
me.
me?
Yes, please,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay. The questioner is asking what happens to the money when the person dies.
Exactly.
So it's very simple. What happens to your money when you die is that your money now belongs to those living. Okay. But in this case, it belongs to any of your family or family members who came forth first to declare that you are no more. All right. But of course, there are some processes that you must follow. Like the bank, depending on the amount that you left in your account, the bank would demand things like your death certificates. The bank would demand things like proof that is your dad or is your mom or whatever. Then if certain amount of money is also involved, we would demand what we call letter of administration. all right, which will give you power over the balances on those accounts, or the person, the living, the power over the balances in those accounts. And of course, you have some tax to pay to the government for you to secure that letter of administration. So once you bring it, we confirm it, and we can now release, we open what we call an estate account for the living. All right, that estate account is where the bank will now move that funds to, where you will now have access to it legally. Do you understand?
All right. Thank you so much. And with that, we call it a wrap up for the QA session. And we'll be calling on one of our brothers to come and do the wrap up for us in the person of Brother Sam Popular.
Hello.
God bless you.
Our moderator, and we also want to thank our facilitators. God bless you, sirs. And to the online facilitators, we also thank you. And all those of you watching us online, we are sure that you taking one or two things away from this program. But on a final note, I want to read something to us. One of our facilitators talked about it, and that is the God factor, which we can't take out of when we are choosing a career path or what to do. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Is there anybody that can read for us? Okay, I read. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. It will be very difficult for you to trust in somebody that you don't have a relationship with. And that brings us to the fact that no matter how we are, we need to establish a very good relationship with God first. And with that, we can trust him to direct us on any choice we decide to make in life. This afternoon, this program has come to us again, and we have heard a lot of things. And I'm sure some people will still be making up their mind, should I do this or should I do this? But I'm telling you that if you can have a very good relationship with God, and that is by getting your path right, make sure that you are cleansed from your sins, make sure that you have a very good and intimate relationship with God. After that, you'll find out that all these questions that are coming up in your mind, he will be the one to tell you do this. He will be the one to tell you do this. Some of our facilitators can attest to that fact. I can also attest to that fact that God really directs us if we are very close to him. So we have another opportunity this afternoon. The altars are open. If you can't come to the altar, you can use your chairs. Take a few minutes and go on your knees and ask God to become closer to you. Tell him to forgive your sins, that you want to make the right choice in life. And I'm very sure God will do that for you. Please, let's go on our knees and ask God for directions. God bless you.